On January 19, 1988, at 9 p.m., 19-year-old Susan Swedell was ending her shift at the Kmart store where she worked in Oak Park Heights, Minnesota. Susan phoned her mom earlier that night and was concerned about the approaching blizzard and her inexperience driving in snowy roads, but she promised her mom that she would go straight home after work, and they planned to watch a movie together along with her 16-year-old sister. Before she left, her coworker saw her change clothing from a warm red pantsuit into a short skirt and sweater, like she was meeting someone on a date. She was warned by her manager that her clothes were not suitable for the cold and snowy weather. She gave no explanation and just waved them a goodbye and walked out to brush the snow off and warm up her maroon 1975 Oldsmobile Cutlass. She pulled out of the Kmart parking lot and headed down Stillwater Boulevard in the direction of Lake Elmo, where she and her mother and sister lived. The distance was less than 6 miles, and it would have taken her 20 minutes to get home in the snow. After a few miles, Susan pulled over to this gas station on the corner of Stillwater Boulevard and Manning Avenue. In 1988, this was once a K station. An observant gas station attendant at that time witnessed another car pull right next to Susan's, and a man came out and greeted Sue as if they knew each other. They talked for several minutes until the man drove his car to one of the pumps to get gas, while Susan went inside to ask the attendant if she could leave her car at the station overnight because it overheated. The attendant said yes, but she would have to park it on the other side to make room for plow trucks. As soon as she went out to park the car, the man she was talking to came in to pay for the gas in cash and left to join Sue in the lot. The attendant saw Susan freely get into the man's car, and they left the gas station and headed west on Highway 5 to the direction to where she lived. Susan Swedell was never seen or heard from again. When Susan hadn't arrived home by 11 p.m., her mother and sister were concerned that something might have happened to her. Worried that she might have been involved in a car accident, Kathy Swedell called police and asked if they would look for her daughter's car. It didn't take long for the deputy to locate Sue's car at the K station where she left it. By this time, the gas station had been closed for the evening. There were no signs of Sue. Police searched for Sue the entire night in the blizzard, and by early morning, 7 inches of snow had fallen, and the search was discontinued until daylight. The sun came up, but there was still no sign of Susan. Deputies went back to the K station and questioned any employee who saw Susan that night. One employee told them she had been having problems with her car and that she had left the gas station with a man. He witnessed the man had been driving a light-colored car with sporty wheels and appeared to be in good shape but was unclean. He couldn't tell what make or model it was. He told police that the unidentified man was unshaven and had long curly brown hair. He wore a leather jacket and was over 6 feet tall and well built. The employees also noted that the two seemed to be friendly with each other and didn't think that Susan was in any danger being with him. Susan's car was searched, and at the front seat, police found her purse that contained her wallet, driver's license, and eyeglasses. I found this to be very strange because why would she leave her belongings behind, especially her glasses, and then get into another car without her stuff? What was she thinking? Well, the police weren't overly concerned about Susan's whereabouts and assumed she just ran away with the man. She was an adult, she was free to leave, and there was no indication that she was in any danger by being with the man. Police told Kathy that she would probably come back in a week, so they stopped searching for her. But this wasn't good enough for Kathy and Susan's sister, Christine. Susan was a responsible woman with 2 jobs, and she wouldn't have just left without contacting them to where she was going. And also her eyesight was so bad that it was strange that she left without her glasses. but police remained convinced that Sue simply ran away. They didn't do a forensic examination of her car. They simply allowed Kathy to drive it home. She didn't notice any problems on the 1-mile drive home, so she left the car parked in front of the house in the hopes that Susan would return. A few days later, she took the car to the mechanic and found out that a bolt underneath the radiator has been purposely loosened, causing it to overheat after driving it a few miles. The mystery deepens. After a week and still no trace of Susan, Christine went home from school and found that someone came in while they were away. Dirty dishes were left in the sink that weren't there in the morning. The sweet smell of marijuana filled the air, and the spare house key was moved outside from its usual place. She called her mom right away, and both discovered that Susan's red pantsuit that she used at work were found underneath her bed, as if she went home to return it. But nothing else was taken, and no messages or notes to indicate that she was there. Kathy called the police again and reported a weird incident, but the police didn't take her seriously, and again no fingerprints or inspections were conducted in the home that would have provided crucial information to solving this mystery, then and in the future. Susan was described by her family as being fun to be around with, but she was also naive and trusted people easily. After graduating from high school, she attended the University of Wisconsin, but dropped out after 2 semesters and decided to live with her divorced mom and her sister. She was active in her church and held 2 jobs. She was also obsessed with dating and boys and regularly talked in a phone chat line. Sometimes she would rack up $300 in phone bills. There is no proof that Susan ever met these young men she was talking to in person. Susan was also talking to her ex-boyfriend and planned to meet him that night, but he canceled due to the snowstorm. Before she disappeared, she was talking with a man named Dale at work and on the chat line. Could this be the man she met at the gas station? Also, Susan's car may have been sabotaged so it would have overheated. Could it be that Dale or another boy she was talking to on the chat line became so obsessed with Susan that he deliberately loosened the bolt knowing that it would force Susan to pull over and he would be there to help her? Was this the scenario that played out at the gas station? One thing for sure is that Susan was abducted by someone she knew. This was the man she met at the gas station. I think that Susan was somewhat attracted to this man and was surprised to see him at the K station. They drove off together to go to a secluded area to make out, but the man got too aggressive and ended up killing Susan when she refused to have sex with him. He may have hidden her body so it could never be found, and for some mysterious reason the man went to Susan's home a week later knowing that nobody would be there, placed her red pantsuit under her bed, smoked pot, and helped himself with some food that they had, hence the dirty dishes. I believe that he wanted to taunt Susan's family and he wanted them to know that he got away with it. He may be a local man and he may have been involved in other crimes. He may still be living in that area. After 34 years, Susan's family still have no answers to what happened to her. They have put up posters and billboards in hopes of finding her. They believe she may have met with foul play, but there's no evidence of this, and she was only reported as a missing person, not a murder victim. In 1989, an unidentified body was found near the area where she disappeared, but it turned out not to be her through dental records. And in 2006, her identity was stolen by a woman who was trying to enlist in the army. Investigators opened her case in 2018, and they are currently working hard to find her. There is a $25,000 reward for anyone with information that could lead to an arrest and conviction of the person responsible for her disappearance and likely murder. Susan Swedell was 19 years old when she went missing on a Tuesday night on January 19, 1988. She has hazel eyes and brown hair, and at the time of her disappearance she was 5 feet 4 inches tall and weighed 100 pounds. She was last seen wearing a short skirt and a sweater and may have had a black down jacket with her. If you have any information about Sue, please contact the Washington County Sheriff's Office at 651-430-7850.